Hi there, I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England. And I offer this devotion as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit, for the soul. It's titled, The Spiritual Life is Like a Flower. In colours bright and essence sweet, like flowers we bloom when we meet. O source of life, a song we raise. This beauty fills our hearts with praise. A good friend, Rob, came on Monday to plant some sunflowers and other assorted flowers in the gardens here at the chapel here in Altrincham. He came for the first time last year, and how he beautified the place, or helped to beautify these beautiful gardens even more so with these beautiful sunflowers that grew and grew and grew. Now, this year he came a little later than he did last time. This was due to one or two planting errors. He's learning about gardening all the time. The flowers are a legacy of love from his dad. His dad had died from COVID right at the beginning of the pandemic. I had helped him create the service he conducted himself at the side of his father's grave. It was filmed and it was broadcast to many parts of the world. His father came to Britain from Zambia over 50 years ago. His dad loved gardening, and since he died, Rob has carried on this legacy. If you were ever to go to Southern Cemetery on the edge of Chorlton in South Manchester, and you were to notice an incredibly well kept grave, probably the best kept there, it is very likely to be Rob's dad's grave. He devotes so much of his spare time taking care of that little plot of land. It's his pride and joy. He tells me that even in his death, his dad is taking care of him, keeping him on the straight and narrow, as he says. It truly is a labour of love, as was the planting of these flowers here in the gardens last Monday. Last year, Rob came for the first time, and discovered actually as he was planting, it was the second anniversary of his dad's death. Like I said, he came earlier in the year. As he was planting, he talked, and I listened. The planting of the flowers was his gift to me, and me witnessing him while he remembered his dad, my gift back to him. We both gave, and we both received, and the whole community of Altrincham, really, especially the gardens here, benefited from the beauty which that planting brought. And this blended, of course, in the beauty already here, blended in with the beautiful beauty of the gardens here. It's a much loved place. It means so much to people, as has been proved to me the last week or so by people's response to what happened to the wind telephone. Now proudly back in its place, in the beautiful gardens here at Dunham Road, Unitarian Chapel here in Altrincham. And as I thought about Rob and planting those flowers and so much other things, really, I thought this seemed to me the essence of the spiritual life in all its beauty and in all its glory, the planting of those flowers. It seems to me, actually, that the spiritual life itself is very much like a flower. Now, you may well ask, how on earth is a spiritual life? How's that like a flower? A reasonable question, you may, I think, to ask. Well, I'll attempt for the next 10 minutes or so to try and explain what I mean by this. What on earth could this strange man, this strange minister, be going on about? What the umma, as my granddad would have said. What the umma is he on about now? Well, the first thing that comes to my heart and my mind is that the spiritual life is about opening up, just as a flower opens up. That to live spiritually is to open up and to continue opening up day by day, season after season, year after year. Rob has doing the cycle again. Just as the flower opens up to the light, so do we. How many times do we open up and reach for the morning light? Are we like sunflowers? Do we face the sun actually? Do we grow higher and higher and open? Well, I wonder how many times we do. Probably infinite number of times actually. That said, we not only open up many times, we also close down and shrivel up many, many times too. We seemingly close in and shrivel up and fade away over and over again in our lives, only to rise up and open up once more in the new springtime of our lives. Not necessarily that time of year, but in a kind of metaphorical sense. The spiritual life surely is about opening up and closing back down again before opening up once again. And this is repeated, this cycle, over and over again as we go through our lives. We are all of us like flowers in the garden of life, each unique and yet each quite similar really, each with something to offer if we grow and flower and be all that we were born to be. Remembering, of course, the beauty of each individual flower. They look beautiful when they stand alone. Each flower has its own unique beauty, its own unique quality, and yet it only truly becomes all that it is when it grows together, when it blossoms together, when it blooms together with other flowers in the garden. It only truly becomes all that it is when it shares all that it is with the other flowers, sharing all that they are in this, the garden of life. And isn't it the same with us and our lives? Yes, we are all uniquely beautiful and we all have our own qualities, but we only truly express them and experience them when we come together in love and we share them with others, encouraging them to do likewise, to blossom and bloom in every way they can. You see, the spiritual life is never truly experienced or expressed fully alone. These things only truly come alive in company and communion with others. Each of us has something uniquely beautiful to offer one another, things that only truly flower when we share them with each other. As me and Rob were doing, and this other guy actually who turned up, a guy who was really struggling, who joined us for a little while on Mondays, as Rob beavered away in the garden, and we all talked together, sharing from our hearts, opening up and flowering and blooming together. The spiritual life, you see, is not only like a flower, but it's like a flower garden. The spiritual life comes alive in the garden of life, in the garden of delights. Take my hand, take my hand and lead me to the garden of delights. Take my hand and lead me to the garden of delights. Yeah, the spiritual life is like a flower, but it's more than that. It's like a flower garden. The spiritual life is not experienced alone. It does not exist alone. It only comes alive when we share it with others. No life is an island. We cannot thrive or survive alone. We are interconnected, much like life in a garden is interconnected. And Margaret Silf captured this thought nearly perfectly in the book The Way of Wisdom. She wrote, "We belong not merely to the created order of things, but in a great web of relationship and interconnectedness, in which every particle is intimately interwoven with each other, and in which, in some mysterious way, each particle holds and reflects something of the totality. This makes a huge difference in the way that we live. Every choice we make, every response we offer, every reaction we reveal has an effect on the web of being. We are made for relationship. The wisdom of creation insists on it. No single creature can disengage from the dance of creation without jeopardizing the eternal beauty of that dance. We are indeed created to be we. To opt for merely being I is to opt out of the creative process itself. It is only in interrelationship that we have our being and our meaning. I saw that on Monday in this garden. These three guys, deeply connected in different ways. In my eyes, this beauty of this interconnectedness is portrayed near perfectly in the observation of flowers growing together with all that makes up the nature of a garden. Our lives and all life is like those gardens, those flowers in the garden of delight. You see, nothing in life is separate. Everything is interconnected. If we damage one aspect of life, we damage all of life. Just as if we begin to heal one aspect of life, we begin to heal all that is life. Nothing is separate. Or to paraphrase Jesus, what you do to the least of them, you do to me. Everything is interconnected. Nothing lives separately from all that is life. And I believe personally that all life is connected by a great universal thread that runs through everything that exists in life. And yet it's somehow more than everything. It's in everything, it connects everything, but it's somehow more than everything. I call this God. Kind of panentheism, if you like. Not to be confused with pantheism, please, although Mr. Facebook seems to think so. True reverential spiritual living and awareness of the sacred in everything helps us to recognize the importance of everything. It helps us see that everything matters, every thought, every feeling, every word, every deed. It helps us recognize the intrinsic value of our own lives too. It reveals how we see life and how we live in life impacts on everything, including our own souls, our own being, really. And I'm recognizing this more and more as I live and breathe and enjoy my own being and enjoy all being and all life as I live and breathe and share my being and let everything into my being as I open up to all that is life itself, to live spiritually alive. And it feels like that's grown again in recent months as I've simply enjoyed walking and living and breathing in this little town with my little dog Molly. I've felt more connected to the people and more connected to the nature. I felt it this week walking down round to Dunham Massey or King George V Pool or around the parks or just round the town really, in connecting with all that is life. My reverence and my love for life has grown. And as it's done so has my love for my own being and all being really. It's helped me feel a part, to feel so interconnected with everything. It's helped me to continue the healing of my own being actually as I've done so. I felt a great healing and freedom coming as I've opened up to more. As that little flower that is my being has opened up again. This allows me to thrive and live and dance in the garden of life. And thus be of better use in this life. As I've opened up to life, felt more a part and interconnected to all being. By simply observing the flowers in a garden, we can see clearly the interdependence of all life. This life in which we live and breathe and we share our being. I felt it so powerfully once again this week. The spiritual life, you see, is like a flower. May we all grow together in the garden of life and dance in the garden of delight. Amen. I'm going to end with some final words of blessing. You know, we need to bless more. We can all bless. It's not for special people. And we bless by simply giving ourselves wholeheartedly to life, opening up to everything, feeling and being a part of everything and let everything be a part of us. So some final words of blessing. May the love that gives to life its beauty, the reverence that gives to life its sacredness, and the purpose that gives to life its deep significance. May it be strong within us and lead us into ever-deepening relationships with all of life. May we open up like a flower, and may the love of God go with us, and may it do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Amen.